Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. November 30th, 2017.
The Kuhner Report, presented by Kelly Financial Services. This is the Kuhner Report.
It's a sexual assault avalanche, baby. Will you take your clothes off? Because everybody seems to be doing it. Okay, my friends, at 1:35, you don't want to miss it. You want a scholarship to an Ivy League school, i.e. Brown University? I've got it. I'm telling you, I've got it for you. You're not going to believe this story. But first, Matt Lauer, and they just keep coming and coming and coming. So, Matt Lauer has now apologized for his sexual misconduct. He says, however, that not all the allegations are not exactly completely true, but he says there's enough truth for him to feel ashamed, embarrassed, and he wants you to know, I'm sorry. He just wants you to know, I'm sorry. And now I know why NBC canned him so fast your head was spinning. So they fired him essentially yesterday. They got rid of him. And it's all starting to come out. Variety has a piece out. The New York Times has a piece out. They were obviously, the sharks were in the water. They were calling NBC executives. They obviously knew about multiple women. It was coming down the pike. And so they just cut him loose. And so here is now the absolute latest. You want to talk about an office pig. Ay, ay, ay. Whoa, whoa, ay, ay, ay. So apparently it's come out that he had his own sexual lair over at 30 Rock. I kid you not, in his own office. That this was like his own little pleasure palace, I guess, his sexual lair, whereby I swear up to and including a button that he had on his desk, that he would press the button to make sure that the doors would then automatically lock so he could keep his victims, his female victims, from getting away from him. And so it's all come out. Apparently he bought sex toys for some of the female employees, and he would say, hey, why don't you and I use them together? Apparently, another female staffer said he just dropped his pants and showed his schlong. But he liked to show his schlong to female employees. You know, I guess a la Bill Clinton. You want to kiss it? And it just went on and on and on. He would have them play these demeaning games whereby he would show them attractive women on the screen and say, forgive me, you know, F, marry or kill. He apparently was sexting to young interns. Other women say he just attacked them. He just would lock the door with press the button in his little secret lair, and then just would come on to them, whether they wanted to or not. And so it's one sordid, disgusting allegation after another. The guy is a pervert. The guy is a pig. The guy is a chauvinist, sexist, misogynist, sexual predator. There's no question about it. And what is to me stunning is that NBC, by the way, rabidly anti-Trump, rabidly never Trump, these are the same ones, if you remember, who fired poor Billy Bush. Why? What did Billy Bush do? Because he was just there on the tape joking with Donald Trump. He didn't do anything. And they fired Billy Bush. And now questions are seriously being raised. If you remember, they were the ones who spiked the Harvey Weinstein piece. If you remember, Ronan Farrow had written a piece. It eventually was published in the New Yorker. But he had written a piece for NBC News whereby he had completely, solid, documented, overwhelming evidence from 6 witnesses on the record, plus an audio tape of Harvey Weinstein sexually assaulting or admitting to sexual assault with an Italian model, and they still spiked the story. So which Ronan Farrow then had to go to the New Yorker published it, and that was one of the key revelations that eventually brought down Harvey Weinstein. But it's now getting pretty obvious. One of the big reasons why they spiked the story was because they were coddling a sexual monster. I mean, this guy missed his true calling. This guy should have been at Chippendales. Really, you look at Matt Lauer, and I'm saying, boy, this guy, he can work that pole, baby. And they knew it. The whole time they knew it. This is, to me, what I think is the real story here. Look, there are pigs everywhere, and there are sexual predators everywhere. That's just the nature of life. But he was enabled. He was coddled. He was empowered. He was protected every step of the way by the top brass at NBC. And I'm going to say it. I don't believe Savannah Guthrie. I don't believe these co-hosts that were working with him. I don't believe them. When they say, oh, we're shocked. I can't believe it. Matt, that's not our little Matty. How do you reconcile such a good man with the evil deeds that he's done? I can't process that just now. I didn't know any of this. They all knew and they didn't care. They all turned a blind eye. Why? Because he made them money. He made the network money. He made the show money. He made the co-host money, because as the ratings were good, they also get a nice bump in salary. And so everybody played stupid until they couldn't anymore, when the evidence was so overwhelming and the culture and the climate has changed. But if you want to see how bad it was, listen to this. You want to talk about liberal hypocrisy at its absolute worst. Listen now to this. So, it's obvious everybody knew. And I'll prove it to you right now. The crew knew, the people in the control booth knew, and the co-hosts knew. For example, in 2006, okay, you know how on these national morning shows, I think it's at 7:25, 8:25, whatever. It's every hour for 5 minutes. They always throw from the national to local news. You get 5 minutes of local news, and then they go back to whatever, the Today Show or Good Morning America or whatever. Well, in 2006, for whatever reason, the Kansas NBC affiliate didn't go to the local news feed. So it was caught on air. Matt Lauer was on a hot mic. Beside him was Meredith, how do you pronounce her last name? Brittany? Vieira? Is that the way? Okay, Meredith Vieira. Okay, she just goes by Meredith. Meredith Vieira was beside her. Listen to Matt Lauer. If that's not sexual harassment, I don't know what is. Roll it, Brittany.
I'm calling.
Hey, sweater. Keep bending over like that. It's a nice view.
If you can't hear the audio, or you couldn't make it out, he said, you got a really pretty blouse today, or pretty sexy blouse. You just keep bending over. It's a really nice view.
Hey, sweater. Keep bending over like that. It's a nice view.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweater. You just keep bending over. It's a nice view. Now, can I tell you the truth? She should have slapped him right in the face. Right there on this. I'm telling you, what Meredith should have done is, and I'll be honest with you, okay? I'm going to be candid like I'm in the confessional. Have I not witnessed stuff like this on the workforce? Not this egregious, but yes, women put up with jerks on the workforce, okay? But usually somebody says something, or the person is pulled aside, or they go to HR or whatever. Instead, I can't believe that nobody said nothing. Now, this was on a hot mic. I mean, it's right there. First of all, the people in Kansas saw it. That's why I think TMZ is the one that originally got the footage. Okay. So the people in Kansas saw it. But I'll tell you right now, the production crew, they're all there. They heard it. They saw it. The control booth, they heard it. They saw it. Meredith Vieira, she obviously heard it. She saw it. What she should have done was just just slap him right in the face. Instead, because he was Matt Lauer, and because he was a cash cow, and because he was bringing in the money, nobody said anything. Fast forward now to another former co-host, Katie Couric, the legendary Katie Couric, the liberal feminist Katie Couric, the pro-Hillary, pro-Obama Katie Couric, the war on women Katie Couric, okay? In 2012, she goes on the Andy Cohen show. And Andy Cohen asks her, hey, working with Matt Lauer, what was the most annoying thing Matt ever did? Roll it, Brittany.
You co-hosted the Today Show with Matt Lauer for 15 years. What is Matt's most annoying habit?
He pinches me on the ass a lot.
Wow! I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Now, why didn't she complain? And by the way, when she said it, nobody said anything. Anything. Nobody said it. Nobody called up Matt Lauer and said, whoa, hey, buddy, whoa, you're grabbing her rear end? You're a fanny pincher. You're pinching a woman? Are you serious? Hey, what are you, 5? Number one. Number two, hey, buddy, that's sexual harassment. You're gone. She said nothing except, to Andy Cohen, but I mean, she never complained. She never went to HR. Nobody at NBC did anything. In other words, all of this was an open secret. Now, if you want to know why I honestly believe that the media may be the most hated institution in America, even if it's possible more than Congress, I think the reason is the sheer hypocrisy and phoniness, and that you're basically dealing with a bunch of frauds. It is the sheer hypocrisy of the media that they try to indict other people for the very sins that they constantly commit themselves. And it's becoming so obvious, so plain, so brazen, that really I think the American people are in sheer disgust. I want you to think about this now. This is a man who assaulted a woman at the Olympics in Sochi. Just came right after her and said, came after her and she said no and wouldn't take no for an answer. This is a man who would buy his employees, I can't get more graphic, sex toys and say, hey, why don't you and I in my office, why don't we play with this baby? This is a man who would expose himself completely to female employees and staffers. This is a man who would send lurid pictures, naked pictures of himself to female interns. This is a guy who had a freaking button on his desk to close the door. So when the women would try to get away from him as he was grabbing or groping them or exposing himself, they couldn't go anywhere. Remember this. September 19th, just over 2 months ago, liberal never-Trumper Matt Lauer is interviewing Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly eventually lost his job at Fox because I think 5, 6 women, whatever it was, accused him of inappropriate sexual misconduct and inappropriate sexual behavior. I want you now to listen to how sanctimonious Matt Lauer is, to how arrogant and holier than thou he is as he's interviewing Bill O'Reilly. If you're eating your lunch, please put it down because I don't want you to throw it up. Roll it, Brittany.
Think about those 5 women and what they did. They came forward and filed complaints against the biggest star at the network they worked at. Think of how intimidating that must have been, how nerve-wracking that must have been. Doesn't that tell you how strongly they felt about the way they were treated by you?
mean, think about what these women were up against. Think about what they had to do. Oh, my God. I mean, can't you see? Basically, the implication is, can't you see how you humiliated them and degraded them and demeaned them? Come on now. You got to do a mea culpa. Come on. Get on your hands and knees, and I want you to beg. Beg. But it gets even better. Roll it, Brittany.
Few of them. Let me put a period on it this way, Bill, by asking you, over the last 6 months since your firing, have you done some soul searching? Have you done some self-reflection? And have you looked at the way you treated women that you think now or think about differently now than you did at the time?
Have you, so Matt, have you done some soul searching? Have you gone through your mind and looked back and see how you've treated women? Because I saw your apology today, and you're basically saying, well, it's not as bad as the women are saying. He is a Class A hypocrite, which means he's a Class A liberal. Now, the question now is not if, but when. When will the next domino fall? What other prominent liberal media figure or news anchor is now going to be outed as a sexual predator and a pig? Now, Geraldo Rivera is in hot water because he was defending Matt Lauer, saying we're in a quote-unquote flirty business. Geraldo may be next. However, I like Chris Cuomo. I don't know what it is. He's got that sort of sexual animal instinct about him, the way he keeps looking at Allison Cameretta. I'm telling you right now, Chris Cuomo, to me, I would not be shocked if he's the next one. However, it could be Jake Tapper. Kathy Giffords was interviewed by Jake Tapper, and she just kept saying to Jake Tapper, because, you know, his producer was forced to resign because he was also preying on women. And all she kept saying to Jake was, Jake, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. It's a race. It's between Geraldo, Jake, and Chris Cuomo. Who ends up first? I leave that up to you. 617-266-6868. My friends, Christmas has come early, and Santa just keeps giving. One prominent liberal after another continues to fall. What is it with liberals and sexual assault? Your calls next. 1227 here on the great WRKO. Okay, Jerry in South Natick, you're up next, and welcome.
Welcome. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Good. How are you, Jerry?
I am very well. First of all, let me start. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Jerry. All the best to you and your family.
So thank you so much, and the same right back at you. So, you know, you cannot turn the radio, the TV, or anything on without being inundated with this stuff, whether it's on your show, your sister show, EEI, it's even in the sports talk genre and stuff, and I'm listening to it, and all of a sudden this little, like, light bulb goes off, one of those thought bubble light bulbs, bing, and it dawned on me, this is Harry Carey with a purpose. The Democrats are sacrificing their own liberal lions, John Conyers, Matt Lauer, to develop a bludgeon large enough to go after the president with. They're ginning up all this public emotion, this almost frenzied witch trial behavior, so that when they get it to its zenith, wherever they feel that is, they can trot out all the sexual accusers against the president and say, well, John Conyers left, Al Franken left, these women are accusing you, and as a man, you can't say they're lying. You can't blame the victim or say that they're lying in any way, shape, or form. You're automatically put at the end of the line to defend yourself. There is no defending yourself once the accusation is made. They trot out 10 women who accuse the president of some type of sexual misconduct. They got all this momentum behind them, all this public sympathy behind them. What's he going to do?
Jerry, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Have you hosted your own talk radio show?
No, Joe.
You should.
I have not.
Nah, you should, because that was absolutely brilliant. That was brilliant. And thank you for that call. Look, I think there's no question about it. There's two things happening. One, I think there's a genuine cultural change taking place because there are so many sexual predators in positions of power. And now they're becoming unmasked. But I think the other major one is what you're talking about now. They want to bring down Trump. And I think they're willing to sacrifice some of their own to do it. There's only one difference. Trump didn't do it. Conyers did. Lauer did. Franken did. And speaking of Al Frankenstein, a fifth woman has just come out. And this story, you gotta hear it to believe it. But first, let's take it to Jackie Murphy with the latest in the newsroom. 12:35 here on the great WRKO. Okay, the Kuhner Country poll question du jour, as the French would say, of the day, sponsored by Bill Kelly Financial Services. We're going to discuss this topic at 2:05. You don't want to miss it. As you know, Trump is now in a lot of hot water over anti-Muslim videos that he tweeted out from a group called Britain First. They're described in the media as a, quote, far-right nationalist group. And so my question to you is this. Should Trump have tweeted out those anti-Muslim videos, the three of them? If you believe the answer is yes, text the letter A to 680-680. If you believe the answer is no, text the letter B to 680-680. As always, you can vote online at WRKO.com. We'll have poll results throughout the show, and we'll do the topic, as I said, at 2:05. But first, it just keeps getting worse. So this avalanche of sexual allegations or sexual harassment claims now just seems to get worse and worse and worse. John Conyers, the Michigan Democrat, prominent member of the Black Congressional Caucus, has now said he has been hospitalized because of all the stress, he says, from the attacks in the media about these women who are all coming forward, his former female staffers, who said that he made all kinds of unwanted sexual advances. He groped them. He was running around in his office in his underwear. You know, I got to ask you this. It's him. It's Matt Lauer. I could go on and on. What is it with men, Bill Clinton with Paula Jones? What is it with men running around either naked or with their underwear and then flashing their schlong? Carlos Danger, Anthony Weiner. What is it with these liberals and wanting to expose themselves? I just don't get it. But anyway, as now the women pile up, as one after another expose Conyers for the sexual predator and pig that he is, now they're playing the race card. And the question that's now being asked is this. If you've noticed, Harvey Weinstein resigned, step aside. You can write whatever. Matt Lauer resigned, step aside. Charlie Rose resigned, step aside. When it comes to the politicians, however, no one's resigning and no one's being forced to step aside. And so when asked, a fellow member of the Congressional Black Caucus, James Clyburn, Democrat from South Carolina, was asked, well, Conyers is your friend, but how come Weinstein had to resign, Rose had to resign, Matt Lauer had to resign, others had to resign? Why doesn't Conyers have to resign? His answer, because we're elected, i.e., because we're politicians, i.e., because we're the ruling class. So, hey, there are different standards for us. We can grab and grope and flash and expose and harass, but nobody touches us. We got a secret slush fund, a shush fund. You guys, you're on your own. And then when pressed even more, listen to this, Clyburn said that Conyers should not resign because, quote, all of his accusers are white. Let me repeat that. Clyburn said that Conyers should not resign because all of the accusers, the former female staffers, are, quote, white. Now, the backlash has now been so intense and so furious over that comment that now even the piranha Pelosi is saying she may have to cut Conyers loose. She has now come out and said, just about an hour ago, Conyers should resign. Conyers should do the right thing and step down. To which his lawyer has just come out and said, when hell freezes over. Conyers says he will not resign. His lawyer says he will not resign. In fact, I'll bet you now the best steak at the Hanover Street Chop House, that if he stays and doesn't go anywhere in his district, overwhelmingly Democrat, overwhelmingly minority, he's going to get reelected with flying colors. Anybody want to take me up on that offer? This guy could basically do anything and win reelection. Which brings me now to Al Frankenstein. Okay, or Al Frankenstein. So, Senator Al Franken, Sexy Al, he refuses to resign. He says he's going to cooperate with the Senate Ethics Committee, basically delay until this whole furor, he hopes, dies down. Well, now there is a fifth accuser. Listen now to this. Army veteran, she's a vet, Stephanie Kemplin, told CNN this morning that Al Franken groped her breast in 2003. At the time, Stephanie Kemplin was serving in Kuwait during the Iraq War. She's a vet. And Franken was part of the USO tour, the same one with Leanne Tweeden, where he stuck his tongue down her throat and then groped her breasts, caught on picture, but let that go. Well, this one was in 2003. The married Franken, as I said, was on a USO tour, and he ran into Stephanie Kemplin, who a lot of people describe as frankly quite attractive, according to them. I got a picture of her. A lot of people say she's a very attractive woman. Here's what she told CNN, quote, when he put his arm around me, he groped my right breast. He kept his hand all the way over on my breast. I never had a man put their arm around me and then cup my breast. So he was holding my breast on the side. She said that Franken held his hand there for at least 5 to 10 seconds. So he grabs, he holds, keeps holding, keeps a little massaging, keeps grabbing. As I said in the pre-show meeting, who's the vet here? Why don't she just clock him in the face? I'm not blaming her. He's the pig. There's no question about it. Please don't take this the wrong way. But again, like Meredith Vieira, I said, why don't she slap Matt Lauer in the face? Honest to God, she's a vet. She should have just punched him right in the mouth. What? You're grabbing my... What? You're groping my breast? Ba-bang. But to me, let me tell you what I find is really despicable about this. This guy is groping a veteran in a theater of war. This is the kind of respect that he has, A, for our women, but B, for our vets. And you think this is funny? So, and the very same people who refuse to demand that Al Franken resign, i.e. Elizabeth Warren, i.e. Hillary Clinton, i.e. Nancy Pelosi, i.e. Chuck U. Schumer, i.e. Mitch the Squish McConnell, all of them are saying, oh, Judge Roy Moore, he's got to step aside. He's got to step aside. And if he makes it, if he wins, we're not going to seat him. With Al Franken, the allegations have been proven. There's a picture. There are pictures. With Judge Roy Moore, whatever you think, So far, it's he said, she said, and some of the accusers, their stories have completely blown up, completely been discredited. But if you're a pro-abortion liberal, you can grab any woman's breast anytime you want, even if she's a veteran, even if it's in a theater of war. Because, hey, as long as you vote with Planned Parenthood, they don't give a damn what you do. 617-266-6868. Brittany, let me put you on the spot right now. I want to ask you this.
Okay.
And you tell me if I'm overstating this. Some guy makes a comment about your looks, your blouse, and tells you to keep bending over because I like that view, baby. Or some guy walks up to you and grabs your breast, forgive me, cups you and just keeps holding and holding and holding.
I probably would have elbowed him or something. Like, absolutely. I said that. I'm like, I don't understand why I shouldn't, like, elbow him in the face or something. I mean, it's ridiculous. And like I was saying to you the other day, it's kind of like sticking up to the bully here. And I think a lot of women are afraid to say something, tell anybody that it's going on. And I consider it, you're sticking up to a bully. And that's exactly what they are. And sexual harassment, not necessarily assault. But, if someone makes a comment, say something to them. Don't speak to me in that way. Or, I'll tell somebody that you're saying this to me if it continues to stop, if it continues, I want you to stop saying this. So I don't know. I think that women should speak out about it. Absolutely. And I probably would have elbowed him if he was grabbing me.
You should have clocked him right in the face, right in the kisser. Oh, really? Or kick him, forgive me, but kick him in the you-know-where.
Where the sun don't shine.
Where the sun don't shine. And he'll never do it again. No, really, I'm saying, who's the vet here?
Well, this is like another thing. Like I always say, go and get your LTC and, carry pepper spray with you in case anything does happen. You have protection. Women have to protect themselves and they need to learn self-defense and that's what they need to do. And when someone attacks you, you need to fight back and you need to stick up for yourself.
And teach these pigs a lesson.
But, the thing is, though, Jeff, what are we going to do about this, though? Like, if this is a change in the culture and everything, what are we going to do? Are there going to be seminars now, like, in the workplace, how to respect women? What's going to happen, Jeff?
Well, to me, I hope that common sense prevails and that women learn to protect their dignity and have respect for themselves and have, for them, a zero-tolerance policy. Period, full stop. Speak out. I'm not kidding. Slap him in the face. Punch him. I'm not kidding. If nobody has the right. Look, let me ask the guys. Here, let me throw this out there. Let me ask all the guys out there, okay? If some guy walked up to you and grabbed you by the crotch, it's a sexual area. I'm sorry, it's a family show. I got to be careful, but it's a sexual area. Some guy grabs you in the crotch and he's holding it for 5-10 seconds. What would you guys do? I know what I would do. I'm not claiming I'm a tough guy, but I know what my instinctive reaction would be. I'd hit him. I'd push him. Whatever. And I'd make it be known loud and clear, don't you ever touch me there again. Right? Women have to become, in this sense, more like men. You touch me, you're going to pay a price. Period. Physically, you're going to get slapped, you're going to get pushed, you're going to get hit, and professionally. You got. There's only one way to deal with the bully. I learned this when I was in the 4th grade in the schoolyard. Okay, you punch them right in the kisser, and they get the message fast. Charlie in New Hampshire, go ahead, Charlie.
Hey Jeff, why do you keep defending the president and Roy Moore, and you take for granted everything that the other women say about the liberal guys?
Well, Al Franken, there are pictures. There's evidence. John Conyers, he paid a settlement.
Okay.
So there's evidence. Conyers has admitted essentially he's guilty. Matt Lauer has resigned. Harvey Weinstein has resigned. Charlie Rose has resigned. So there's evidence.
The president admitted he assaults women.
Pardon me?
He bragged about it.
But again, look, Charlie, you've called before, I don't want to keep playing the tape. He never bragged about assaulting a woman. You're lying, and you know you're lying.
He said
what he said was, Charlie, I've played the tape. Charlie, listen, Charlie. I'm not going to argue the same thing over and over again. I've played the tape at least a half a dozen times. What he said was that groupies will allow you to grab them even by the pee. He never said that he did it. He was describing groupies. Now, if there are women out there, because a lot of them recanted their story before the election. So, if there are women out there that say that Trump sexually assaulted them, come out, put your name, show me the evidence. As for Roy Moore, look this up. One of his key accusers forged her signature on her yearbook. This is now beyond dispute. I don't want to get sidetracked here. So why would a woman lie and forge her signature if she was truly sexually assaulted? In other words, all of the accusers, or many of them, their stories are blowing up in their face. That's the difference. There's evidence on one side. There's nothing more than innuendo, and in some cases, unproven allegations or disproven allegations on the other side. That's the difference. Truth, reality. False, real. That's the world I operate in. In other words, I'm not a liberal. 12:55 here on the great WRKO. Okay, Arthur, you're up next from Chestnut Hill, and welcome.
Thanks, Jeff.
Hi.
Well, one thing I think life has taught us, Jeff, is you can't expect dishonorable people to do the honorable thing, and that's a big part of the case here. And the fact is, this is more than sexual harassment. These are sexual crimes these people have committed. There should be a grand jury impaneled, and these people should be brought out in charges. And the way they should be taken out of the Congress is in handcuffs, not given the offer to resign, because these people will never let go of the power they have.
Arthur, you know you're dead on. You really are, and thank you for that call, Arthur. Look, and please, I have a lot of respect for Brittany. You know that. Executive producer now for 5 years. Really, she's almost like a younger sister to me, okay, to be honest. But just to bear with me here, okay? I'm 48, she's 28, right? So, and difference in power, difference in age, difference in everything. Let's say I did an Al Frankenstein, just for the sake of argument. I walk up to her, think about this, forcibly grab her neck, and then stick my tongue down her throat. Or I send a picture of her as she's, asleep, she's doing a double shift, whatever, a special show. So she's taking a nap in the afternoon, and there's me with both of my hands groping her breasts. Not only am I rightly out of a job, I am fired so fast. And let's be honest, every one of you would demand that I be fired because you have standards. You would. I know you would. You would say, look, Jeff, I love you, buddy, but that's way beyond the line. You got to go. Not only would I be fired, and rightly fired, I'd be facing charges. I just sexually assaulted the poor woman. You can't do that. So, to me, what is incredible, Arthur, you nailed it. It's not just that they should resign. They need to go to jail. Because if you did it, or if I did what they did, I'll tell you this, we'd be out so fast our head would be spinning and they'd be slapping the handcuffs on us. Vinny in Georgia. Go ahead, Vinny.
Hello, my friend Jeff Kuhner.
Vinny, Vinny, the indestructible man. How are you, Vinny?
I'm doing great, and let me tell you, the Kuhner ranks are lined up and down my street. They are ready to join and stand behind you. But on a couple things here, Jeff. When you're talking about Matt Lauer, he was probably one of the people that criticized Trump for saying when Trump owned Miss America that she needs to lose a little weight. And I often wonder, where is the National Organization of Women? Where are they on these things? I don't hear any, at least I don't hear anything down here in Georgia. And I have to wonder if Matt Lauer was not a big successful TV name, national recognition. If he was just a jerk on the street, what kind of person would he be? Would he be a peeping Tom? Would he be a molester? Would he be a street rapist? What would he be? Is he leading two lives in his mind? I have to wonder about that.
Vinny, a really good call, a really interesting point, and thank you for that, Vinny. I think he's a pervert. He's saying, okay, Jeff, forget Matt Lauer as the host of the Today Show, okay? Let's just say Matt Lauer on the street. What would you say about Matt Lauer? Just guy working, 9-to-5 job, schlepping to the office, schlepping back. Matt Lauer is a pervert. Matt Lauer is a sexual predator. And Matt Lauer would have lost his job and probably would be sitting in jail today. And it's not just Matt Lauer. There are going to be many more in the media. I'm telling you, and in politics. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I love to see how these liberals are falling one by one by one. Coming up next, the NFL makes a stunning deal with George Soros. You're not going to believe this one. We're back in 5 short minutes.
The voice of Boston is you. 680 WRKO Boston, 93.7 WEEI HD2 Lawrence, Boston. It's 1 o'clock.